Welcome to Riverbend Talon on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
Another Riverbend Talon on the Big Z. Another Thursday night with the Sea Shanty Sing-Along already underway down at Morrison's Irish Pub, which is probably brought to you by Mr. Matt Van Voorhis, but I'm not sure.
Probably.
Mila Duffy later on tonight down at the Conservatory following trivia night. She'll start at 9 and go to 11:30 at the Conservatory. Open mic 9 o'clock at Ragin Cajun. Cross the line 7 to 11 at Fast Eddie's. Fleetwood and Family down at Doit tonight from 7 to 11. And then Mo Pleasure already underway down at Patrick's in Granite City from 6 to 9. Drew Lance and Guest underway already down at the cabin at Judy Creek and Glen Carbon. And the Graham Band started at 5:30. Up at the Prairie Inn, they'll go to 8:30 tonight in Dorsey and experience Live Music Row. Which I got to kind of check out last Saturday night a little bit.
Yeah, how was that?
Oh, well, I never made it past the Lincoln Theater. For the,
so you got to kind of check it out.
Well, it was raining, so I didn't want to walk.
Right,
and
right.
I could see a couple of the bars are right there by the Lincoln Theater, though.
Okay, so a lot of this is walking distance, one strip. Because, we've been talking about this thing for 2 years now. And patting them on the back for what a great job they're doing, but haven't made it down to it yet. It's Belleville, man.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit of a skip, but hey, kudos to the Riverbend area for going down and supporting BC Homegrown down at the Lincoln Theater. 400 people, Pigpen, almost sold out down there.
Wow.
And all I could keep thinking is this is a band that used to be a cover band that all of a sudden decides to go original, change their name, and then rent out a theater in Belleville, far away from where they play, and they sold 400 tickets.
I'm telling you, man.
That's impressive.
Yeah, when you told me earlier that they had about 400 people there for an original band that has just become an original band. It's not like they've got a record contract or any support from anybody but themselves to sell 400 tickets to an original show. Kudos, man.
And I'm doing that to set up our guest tonight because they were kind of discussing right before the show about, brand new band name. We're trying to put on a show at a venue that's kind of new, the Mill in Granite City, and
how do you sell tickets?
They're looking at us like you guys
are. So let's get down to business. This is one of those situations where it's a new band. We've never had this band, right? The band's name is the Monochromes. And a lot of people don't realize it, but on the side, I'm known as the homie with the extra chromie. So this is right up my alley. Now, the band is the Monochromes. However, a couple of familiar faces to the show here. Starting off just to my right with the handsome Daniel. Oh, yeah. He's looking over his shoulder like, who, me? Can't be me. Look, I didn't say name two pronouns. Don't be hitting me with who, me.
Okay, who, me.
Daniel, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much, Pigpen.
Daniel Floyd.
Thank you,
from Pink Floyd. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, of course. Inspiration.
Right. Sid Barrett and Daniel started Pink Floyd back in 1962. No.
Still waiting on that child support.
Yeah. You're probably waiting on a call from David Gilmour right now about to sue you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's happened to our guests. The Birds.
Really?
Yeah, David Crosby tried to sue Rogers and Nina.
No, yeah. Paul Rogers. David Crosby sued Paul Rogers 3 different times now. It's like,
The guy from Bad Company?
Have a hustle, I guess.
Paul Rogers. Did I say Paul Rogers?
A free. Nobody caught it.
I was like, I don't know where you went with this story, but
Is that a friend of yours?
And now welcome to the stage, Paul Rogers and Free!
well,
Nice.
Bad Company, man. Like the King Crimson, was one of the, a lot of bands pitched in to make Bad Company when those guys came together.
I'll tell you what, I seen them down at Six Flags.
Yeah.
Without Paul Rogers. They had that other guy, the guy that sang with Ted Nugent. I can't even think of his name. But
Steve Marriott. No, I don't know.
Something Howe. Brian Howe or something like that, I think. Anyways, unbelievable. It opened my eyes to just get up there and have a good time, and the audience will group with you, or they'll feel left out. So, not a big fan of the band, but was pretty blown away.
When you see guys who aren't met, the music is good, but there are smiles ear to ear, and they're laughing at each other on stage. It's infectious, man. It's hard to not see people on stage having a good time and go, this is boring. I find this shallow and pedantic. You know?
All right, Pigpen, back to the introductions.
Oh, yeah, let's keep on going down. I'm going to skip all the way down to the very far. To the far end down there. Lance Griggs, welcome back.
Hey, thank you, buddy.
Yeah, Captain. He's got many names.
Captain.
Captain, my captain. Anyway, so
Nice.
Lance Griggs, who I met many moon ago at the old Musicians Club with his band Crazy Chester, who I refuse to call that and would only call Lazy Lester.
Hey, it got us somewhere else. So.
And the Nelson Mandela effect is in full swing as it has happened now.
You're the reason. I thought you were just cleverly rhyming. There's more depth to you than that, isn't there?
Look, I don't write songs because I think they're good. I write them because they rhyme. So, and in the middle, a new face, somebody I've never met, Mr. Casey, right?
I'm Casey.
We're going to call you Casey Bones. It's kind of like Casey.
Better watch your speed.
It's kind of like Casey Jones, but I don't have to pay the Grateful Dead.
It's all that trouble.
It's Casey Ashby, and it's a tongue twister on stage, so he goes by Casey Ashby.
Casey Ashby.
Yes, like that. Exactly.
Casey Ashby, 95.
There you go.
Well, I'm a big fan already because, like, most people that have the center seat don't lean into the mic, and he leaned right in, Pigpen.
He's a professional.
This guy's a pro.
So many musicians think that being way over here is just fine with a microphone. And it's
Well, if you're Mikey Lowenstein,
look,
I could do it.
first of all,
you could do it.
I don't know if you know the rules, but when somebody from a band doesn't show up, when a member doesn't show up,
They
we
get bashed hard.
have full rights
Yeah.
to make
Oh, yeah, that's
fun
why I
of
told
them.
Casey I was sad that he showed up on time. We didn't get any time to set him up.
It would have been fun to have 10 minutes just to rip him a new one.
Yeah, he knew
I
better.
can step outside.
See, he didn't lean into the mic that
Nah.
time. So all
He's losing points.
all kudos that were given have just been
Yeah,
retracted.
that was quick. There we go. See, we got our licks in. It's good.
You know, you fall as quick as you rise. Now just remember, the same people you misuse on the way up, you're going to meet up again on the way back down. So that is a truism. Casey Ashby. Casey Ashby, how are you, man?
I'm doing well.
What is it that you do? And I don't mean in the band. I mean for kicks, because we're gonna party later.
Oh yeah.
Now, what role do you play in this?
Yeah, so I'm the drummer in the Monochromes.
Which I understand you're the leader then.
That's what they tell me.
He's in charge. He's in charge.
You're
No.
in charge.
No, not at all. We let Lance take that.
And that's going to show.
Captain, my captain. Oh my gosh. So Casey, where are you from, buddy?
I'm from Granite City.
Here, let's just.
You want me all the way in?
No, man.
It's a directional microphone.
Right
So when
on.
you shoot across it, it gets very canny sounding. So yeah, look at Lance getting in place now. Like
He wants to stay out of trouble.
yeah. Yeah, it's all how you use the mic. You got to know how to use it, man.
It is.
So Casey, where are you from again?
Now, I'm from Granite City.
Oh, there you go, man. A fine music town. We have many transplants from Granite City. Jared that owns the Music Exchange. Marshall that just threw Happy Trails. Quite a few great musicians. I don't know why they moved out of Granite City, because it seems like they got a pretty happening music scene down there.
Yeah, there's still a good handful of folks down there getting around.
Is that what's the Jacob Myers? That one's still going?
It's open. They don't do music like they used to, but
Really?
yeah, they're still there.
That the thing that we've heard is that the owner's a huge supporter of local music and original music.
I've known Bob for a lot of years, played a lot of shows in Jacob Myers, and it's certainly one of my favorite places to play. But COVID kind of slowed everybody down and never really picked up a lot of steam with the music after that.
Yeah.
But he always had different original sounds.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the common circuit of the cover bands running around like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Bob always took pride in getting different acts in that were always good and interesting. So
And that a friend of the musician is how he's been described to me.
Yep.
For any friend of musicians is a friend of mine, man. And then you got the mayor down there, Mr. Mike Parkinson, putting the mill together. And really, he's trying to. Me and him, I had a few meetings about it back a couple years ago. He was really trying to get a new face for Granite City in the sense that it's known as the steel town.
Right.
That's all that. I mean, Granite City is the steel mill town. Everybody knows that. That's what it's been my whole life, kind of. And he's like, that time is sort of past for us. And his idea is, look, we are right across the river from St. Louis. This could be a destination. This could be a place where people come for music and for entertainment. And unlike downtown St. Louis, you can get parking, and you know what I mean. And it really, I mean, to come from across the bridge from downtown to get to downtown Granite City is no farther than being down by the arch and going to Del Mar. Or anything else. It's and like you say, he really was pushing for that, and it seemed like that little downtown area was starting to pop a couple of Mardi Gras that went really well.
You got one coming up.
Another one coming up.
Got another one coming up, and they do it really good where they get a lot of bars involved. They have the parade, and then they have a bus that sort of does the route between the bars, and so kudos to him for trying to reinvent a city that has been sort of the same for 100 years.
Yeah.
Not an easy thing, not an easy task to undertake, and I like the direction he's going with it. Of instead, what else you going to do? Fill it with strip malls? Right. If nobody's working at the steel mill, no one's pinned to the strip malls. but partying, people are always,
Right.
Even in a recession time, the two things that always seem to survive is Hollywood and the mob. And that's because we're all still looking for entertainment. Yeah. I'm just saying, these are facts. You can look them up. You don't believe me? It's in the Bible, bro. No, did I go too far? All right, I got that from Genesis, the first album. The Peter Gabriel years before Phil Collins ruined that band. No. I'm sorry. I've gone way. Yeah. Forget David Crosby suing. I got Phil Collins all over me now. It's all right. I'm going to talk Kevin Spacey into playing him in a made-for-TV movie. It'll all be fine. Yeah. It's a match made in heaven there. I don't know. Anyway, back to the band, the Monochromes, because we're getting nowhere here. Next question for Casey, because I've talked to these guys way too much in my lifetime.
Yeah, right.
And Daniel's leaning way over that way because he knows if he comes this way, I start to get handsy. He's all,
Switch me rumors back. Switch me seats.
Yeah, see, I'm liking Casey more and more. So Casey, what unfortunate circumstances led you into
getting roped into our con here.
Right.
No, I'm friends with Mike, the mayor down there.
Oh yeah, Mike Parkinson's
been playing drums a long time. Sitting with Scott Michelle a lot. To sit in and play a cajon.
A lovely couple.
Right. Oh yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
But was friendly with Mikey, part of Lazy Lester, and now part of the Monochromes.
See, now you just lost points. You should have said you were friendly. Like, you could have said
I didn't know these guys. Right.
But it's like, if that's the one you buddied up to. Whew. Yeah, man.
So, I just bebop around sometimes. Love live music, love getting around. And so the acoustics acts, I'll take my cajon and just sit in. So
nice.
I was kind of following these guys around. Me and my wife like to go out and hear them quite a bit. And I think really when it came together, Mikey was injured or something. He couldn't come to a show.
That's right.
And we had talked about me playing cajon, but they didn't know if I could actually play or not, So showed up to a show to hear it, and Lance was like, "Hey man, go home and get your box. Like, do you think you can do it?" Like, I think I can do it. So I sat in that day, and kind of built the friendship up a little more. And now it seems like we still go out and hear him play, and I got to get up and play a handful of songs every time. And
nice.
So as far as the Monochromes go, Parkinson was at Pavia's place here in Lazy Lester. He's like, "Man, you guys are great. You need to, I want you to do something for the mill. We want to get the mill established as a new venue, get people in here, something good and interesting. But we got to get it started. So why don't you put something together?" So I was kind of the connection between all of that. And they obviously have a strong base of music with Lazy Lester, and we created this. Get busy at the mill.
There you go. And the mill is a beautiful place, but not to step too far back, but sometimes that journalist in me.
Yeah.
Well, I want to step back to Mikey's injury.
Well, but even before the gambling injury or whatever Mikey Lowenstein was involved in, it just one question about you meeting him. Which public restroom did you meet him?
Oh, yeah, all right. Oh, those are secrets, sir. We'd like to keep that place open.
Nice. Should have been here, Mikey. You could defend yourself.
He was taking a ride on his toy scooter with his dog pulling it.
Nice.
And it bit the dust.
Okay, so
it's amazing.
That is a great.
How could you leave that out?
That's the second best injury story we've had on this show this year. So you're doing all right.
And he really made it sound like there was ambulances and everything involved, and I think there was a little scratch or something.
You know Andy Bensman and Jeff Bensman.
Yeah.
So they got another brother. And when they were kids, they got a dirt bike, and the other brother would not stop and let them take turns. So Andy did a flying leap and tackled him off the motorcycle. And just clotheslined him and took him off the bike. Oh, brothers.
Hey, before it gets past it through this whole thing, there is another member that hasn't been mentioned yet. Yeah. He knows his last name, but his name's Jeff, and he's our utility guy.
Beckwith.
Jeff Beckwith.
Yes. I've not made it to the last name yet.
I was stopped at Beck. Just said, yeah, Jeff Beck in the band.
He's a fantastic addition.
Jeff animated him, stuck him on keyboards.
Jeff Beck with Monochromes.
Yeah. See,
now it sounds like Jeff Beck is with the Monochromes.
There you go. That's right.
Jeff Beck with Monochromes. You just got to kind of pause in the right spot.
Yeah,
it's very confusing. And sell tickets. You've been asking how to sell tickets. I'm telling you now how to do it.
There you go.
Right.
Dude, I just saw this girl. I forget her name. Talk or something. She was playing with Jeff Beck when she was 18. He picked her up, and this gal, there was 20 people on stage, and it was hard to take her out. It was amazing how good this gal is. Anyway, I'm off track again. Let's get back to the Monochromes.
You're right. It's Taj. You're right. You got the name right.
Did I couldn't even remember. I just remember she was amazing, man.
So we know Dan Floyd and Lance Griggs are part of Lazy Lester, but Casey Ashby, you're in a band too, another band, right?
I am. Yeah, I've been around doing cover bands for a while. The current band is Dr. Martin's Flannel Brigade.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All
we are exclusively 90s covers. If it didn't get written in the 90s, we don't play it.
So elaborate and tell me Dr. Martin. Who?
Dr. Martin, like the shoes.
Okay.
The boots.
Okay.
Boots from the 90s.
All right.
We came up with
Flannel Brigade.
the most ridiculous
90s name. Yeah.
90 stuff that you can do. Yeah, man. Here you go.
I'm loving the name. That's one for the refrigerator.
That's right.
You're not
gonna get a little long.
If you remember, you really know them.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, they're just that flannel band.
Well, that flannel band. We really we love it whenever a name makes us laugh. That scruffy looking nerf herder guy always cracks me up. But I'll be honest, in all the years we've been doing this, there was a band I never got to see them, but they were called Pussycat and the Swallowtails, and that is just one of those there's probably not even a good reason behind it, but what a great name. Don't sit there like you've got better ones in your head. He's like rolls his eyes at that name, like you got one on the tip of your tongue better.
He gave us the best one, Lazy Lester. I mean, what can we do besides that?
Well, yeah, I mean, he invented it. So
speaking of lawsuits, we're working towards one with that. We get hit up by Lazy Lester's people all the time. I hear you not to.
We're included in their chat, and it's just ridiculous.
Hold on, who's chat?
Lazy Lester's chat.
And who is you are Lazy Lester?
So there's a blues artist named Lazy Lester from the early 1900s or something. Yada yada. 1900s, it's hundreds of years ago. But we get contacted by his family or something hey, you need to come get Lester's stuff out of our storage shed or something.
Hold on.
Okay. No, it really did. A family member really did.
Wait. So why are you not going and getting it? I'm confused. This is a blues guy from the 1900s who's got a storage shed full of stuff, and someone's saying
some of that was made up.
Well, I think
when we were contacted by the family member.
Oh, okay.
I think she was looking for some long lost inheritance.
Someone of a different complexion too.
That's true.
Well, look, pigmentation being what it may. I thought you really I thought they were like, hey, come get his stuff. I'd be like, dude, I would be on my way. Who cares if it's just like an old wig or something? It doesn't matter. At the end, it could be like, who knows what.
Maybe we should have led you on. We could have contacted you with the people, and you could have represented us.
You could have taken me to any storage unit in Alabama, and I would have been breaking into it, going, "This is Lester's stuff."
Next week on Storage Wars.
Suddenly, I got the cartel looking for me.
All right, so Monochrome.
again.
One thing we haven't mentioned yet is this is a tribute band, right?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And it is a double tribute, sort of.
Yeah.
Right? And speaking of pigmentation, who is it?
There you go.
Just trying to bring it all back around here. Who is it that we're tributing?
The Black Keys it was the White Stripes originally, and then we realized that Jack White, covers it, still white. So the black and white tour, kind of tribute thing.
Ebony and Ivory.
Yeah, and it's a lot of good music to choose from, you know. So a lot of it we've played already. The '90s guy hasn't played it yet, but he has now.
I have now.
I just played the Black Keys a couple weeks ago on KDHX, and they do a version of a Bob Dylan song, "The Wicked Messenger." That it is a great version because they're not just a lot of like people cover Bob. They just kind of play it the way he did it, and do their best folky version. And these guys did their own thing with it, man, and it's nice. You know what I mean?
Heck yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, those the Black Keys, the White Stripes, and
anything from
the
Jack White, like
Monochromes.
the Wrecking Tours, his solo stuff, White Stripes,
Right.
God knows. We even considered, what was the other one? Deadwood?
Dead Weather?
Yeah,
But we didn't land one. Yeah. So that female lead singer, right? I think that's female lead singer in that.
It's his wife, his cousin, and his sister,
Yeah.
and his mom. It's weird. It's everything.
Depends on what interview you want.
That's like one of my favorite things about him. I mean, it really is the fact that he's like, "Oh, it's my wife," or "Yeah, she's my sister." He don't even know. Like she's just a drifter he picked up along the way. He's like, "Are you my mom?" I don't know, dude. No, that is like one of another great cover. I saw them do St. James Infirmary. The White Stripes do a version, and man, like that's one of them songs.
I think I've seen that one.
Oh, dude,
is that like from the basement? Is that they have a really cool session they do?
So I can't remember where I came across it. It's probably YouTube, and I'm just I'm watching videos or whatever. But I saw that St. James Infirmary caught my eyes because I love that tune. That's like it's a seriously old tune that is still to this day a beautiful song. So as soon as I saw the name St. James Infirmary, I'm like, White, Jack Black doing this? Cool, it's with his wife or sister or
Jack Black.
Did he say that?
Jack Black.
I caught him too.
So pigmentation's off.
Black on black now.
I would like to see Jack Black also.
Yes. Yeah, we could have covered one of his.
He does it with Rob Halford. Didn't you know that?
No, but I kind of want to stop the show and look it up. like that would be like, I don't know that I would recover from that one. I'd probably have to watch it 4 or 5 times before I could get over that.
He did a duet with Dolly Parton, right? Rob Halford. Yeah.
No.
For real.
No. That is so awesome. Dude, that is, Pavarotti said he thought Halford was the greatest vocalist
That's right.
on the planet.
True story,
So,
okay, so you guys know each other from you going to see them and different things, but how does this come about out of all that? Like, why Jack White and why?
That's the part that I wasn't included in until it was all decided.
Okay.
Yeah,
Which they make good choices.
no basis, yeah.
I think they based it on stuff we've done, that I like.
Yeah, Casey brought me over, and he's like, just pretty much threw me into the conversation with Mike, the Mayor Mike. That's his name on Facebook, right? Mayor Mike. And he's like, yeah, we need a tribute act or something to come on. I think he said 2. I don't know who said 2, but...
he said 2 hours.
2 hours. I could think, okay, we do a lot of Black Keys songs, so I came up with the Black Keys thing. We had talked about it for a while, doing a tribute to the Black Keys, but then Lance comes over. I'm like, dude, who do we got that we do a bunch of songs from. We could just put something together real easy, like.
Right.
And he's like, White Stripes. So
Yeah.
that was you. originally.
Anything from Jack White, I feel like we've done enough of the Ragin Tour stuff in the past, that it kind of made sense. The Black Keys, obviously, they're one of my favorites.
See, I think you should do a tribute to Jack White and Jack Black and call it Jack Gray. I'm just trying to help
That is
here.
clever.
I'm just trying
Trying to murder
help
poor
here,
Lance's
man.
voice there.
I don't think I could channel the black part of it. I just don't think I can.
So
got the soul.
I honestly, but until you said that, I was in my mind. I thought Parkinson's did it. Parkinson's like, hey, you know what? You guys do this for me.
And even though he says that happened with me choosing the White Stripes or whatever, I don't remember it. I just remember that all of a sudden we're playing a show and I'm just looking around going, this really just happened? And
To be fair, it was late in the evening, and it all
Yes.
sounded like a really good idea at the time.
Okay.
So,
it was
here we
at
are.
the end of our show. We were tearing down.
At Doit?
It was actually at Pavia's.
Okay.
I'm surprised it wasn't at Doit's, but Mike's seen us at Doit's also.
Yeah.
So
You still got the steady Wednesday? What, like once
we
a-
do first of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know how far it goes through the year this time, but it was the whole year last year, and then like the ones coming up this next Wednesday. So yeah, yep, we play.
Sound like a lot.
So another band that met over pizza. We get that story a lot, right? Because Pavia's is a pizza.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that place is fantastic. Good food, good owner. So yeah.
Up at Holiday Shores, there used to be a place called Hooker's Pizza.
Yeah, here we go.
It's one of my favorite ad libs.
Right? Yeah.
The entire show last week was about this.
Was it?
That's because
Yeah,
I got
because
confused. and thought it was-
Wiggler,
Well, I've heard a few stories about mattresses and
because
stuff.
Wigglers moved into Hooker's Pizza, so he got Wigglers and Hookers going.
And it sounds like a party to me, man. and don't throw your disparaging comments my way. You're over there. You look like a defendant on trial. Where you're like, me not saying it didn't happen. Me just saying me not remember. Oh, did I come up with white strips? I don't remember, bro.
You just want to take credit in case it sucks. That's all.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I realize how difficult he tries to make everything to cover his stuff. Jack White, he is insane. It is so damn hard. He
Yeah.
just does some wild stuff. I mean, I don't know how, like, I always imagine it like this. When an artist like that pushes that crazy rasp and all that stuff, that they're only doing like the 1 hour show, and that's the only reason they can make it through that, which I imagine he could do a 4 hour show because he's the real deal.
Yeah.
But by the time we're done doing an hour of his stuff, I ain't gonna be able to speak. I mean,
Well,
it's nuts.
And those even if it is just which a lot of touring bands that I see, they're doing more than hour shows, man. I mean,
Yeah.
there was a lot of shows back in the day where you get a 45-minute set and you're like, what did I just pay for?
Right.
But as you get more into like real bands that are on the road because they're that's what they do. They don't do those shorter sets. They do
Right.
90-minute sets or 2-hour sets or whatever. And those guys, even though it's not 4 hours in a bar every night or whatever, they're out there doing it every night.
Yeah.
And it's their life. So if they're not the real deal, they usually don't last long.
Yeah, and bringing that to a local level, Paul Graves said to me when I was a young Cottonmouth singer, he said, the more you use your voice, the stronger it'll get. So sing all the time.
Yeah.
That is
So,
I've been asking Graham what his secret is, and he's been telling me it's craft beer for years now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that can't be true. And they've both convinced me to just build up the strength, or not necessarily the stamina, but the recovery time gets better and better. I've gotten much better
you know what?
Drinking or the singing?
recovering from the drinking and singing.
You coat your throat in Vaseline. It's an old Elton John trick.
What do you use to get it in there?
Are you sure it's for singing?
There's several instruments.
here's some advice. Don't listen to Stewie or Pigpen.
Yeah. Yeah, Stewie's Graham, by the way.
All right,
Right.
all right.
There's so many nicknames. He's just going, who are they?
So actually, my nephew Stewie was the implement. Stewie. All right. So the Jack White. easier to sing than Jack Black. So just quick.
Yes, true.
Quick.
Yeah, I'm done.
I mean, Jack White pretty much just yodels the whole time.
Come on, Dan. You were leaning in earlier now. Give it to us, man.
He was getting closer to me finally.
No,
Try
he
not
is.
to spread my BO all over
yeah.
Casey.
He's giving Casey the old leaner.
I'll just go cheek to cheek here.
Yeah, right.
That'll be a little better for us.
Back to back, belly to belly.
Yeah, Jack White, he is a pretty interesting vocalist to cover. I'd say not as complex as Jack Black, but I was actually watching on YouTube. They were talking about his vocal techniques, and he actually said that there's a local singer that he studies, a guy named Lance Griggs. He listens to him, decides what he can't sing, and he just does a bunch of that. Okay, so that's where he got all that from.
It worked. It did work.
Yeah.
I think it was Dio.
Oh, Dio, that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's another one.
Dio, can you hear me? I could do the Jack Black.
Yeah, he can do it all.
If you can bring me out of retirement, and you want to create the Jack White and Black band,
what's it take?
What's your rate?
I can tell you, man. Food.
Chicks,
Filipino
food, Filipino chicks. I would do it for that.
Okay,
And
chicks is like what, 3?
Like chickens.
Oh,
I need food. You remember what were you thinking?
and if you can teach him to say, "Me love you, please buy me air conditioned helicopter."
No, he sure did. He can't say what it really taught him.
It's an old Filipino saying.
It's an S word for poo poo.
it's hard to believe that you guys used to influence my child.
That's scary.
We still have YouTube.
It's
I'm used to influence. We might still be. As a matter of fact, that whole thing that Parkinson said about coming from St. Louis, we started that for the River Band on the radio.
You guys are the old school, been there, done that.
Any influence that your children have had because of me is your fault for letting them be around me. I mean, you have no one but to yourself.
Well, hindsight's 20/20.
In all the commotion, I heard you say, "Oh, yeah, I can't believe I let you influence my children," and it's like, bro, that's all you, man.
No, we were telling the story about telling him and a few other people, telling Casey, a few other people at the bar about how Brandon played drums and that he was in the sandwich band, and the reason that it wasn't going so great was he didn't show up with anything, including forgetting his sticks. And that put him into just look at him now.
It was one of those dude, you I'm trying so hard here. You can't bring drumsticks to a gig, or practice. Which I got drumsticks, but you gotta try, man.
One job.
You're not even. And believe me, I'm all for hey, who gives it? Let's just roll with it. My whole life has just sort of happened, and without trying very hard.
Right.
All right, so this first show ever by the Monochromes is at the Mill in Granite City on February 24th.
Yeah, whatever.
And tickets start at $15, so that means there's a range of tickets, and you guys are probably still working on that.
There's a VIP section.
Oh, a VIP.
There's 3 of them, I think, maybe 4, and they go up to $25, which I'll be impressed if anybody buys those.
Yeah,
that's for very impotent people. Yeah. I'm pretty impotent.
I was at the first show ever at the Mill.
Like it.
Really?
Yeah, it was Jeremy Drake, another guy you guys might want to consider opening for you. Jeremy Drake, and then they had the Silver Material there a week later with a bunch of other high school kids put on a show there, which I thought was super awesome.
A bunch of young bands doing original music.
Yeah, and that was the young kids' idea and Mayor Mike's.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
but you'd love to hear that.
This might be the 3rd show. I might have missed one. But.
Yeah, he's been to some events there too. I don't know why they're calling it the debut. I mean,
I think it's more of a thing. They're trying to get things going.
Right.
They're trying to establish it. Some of these things were kind of one-offs. I know it's been rented for private events.
Right.
They do some other things on the bar side. It's a whole venue. If you haven't been there,
It's It's huge.
Beautiful.
It's not just when he walked me around. There was like the bar when you walk in where a band can play there. That's a smaller area. There's the big room that's like the mini Ryman with the stained glass. And then there was downstairs a whole nother stage downstairs. Mm-hmm. Office buildings for rent upstairs. Anybody in the Granite City area needing some office space, this is a great building to rent.
I think you can
out
even
of.
like rent workspace.
Yeah.
So you don't have to like lease it out. Like you just need a place for a meeting with your people. I
Yeah.
think there's all kinds of options.
Yeah, it is a universal sort of building, and like you say, 3 stages in the building, including the one in the basement, man, where you could have 3 bands playing at one time in that place. Nice. You could have a whole indoor festival right there. Sure. So, this particular event, what's the date on it again?
February 24th.
February 24th. And the Monochromes' very first gig. So,
by seasoned veterans of the river. You know, we already talked about you guys. Let's talk about the guys who aren't here. Mikey Lowenstein. We know him from Lazy well, we can kind of skip him, but we know him from Lazy Lester for our listeners and Hooky, and he sits in with everybody around town. He
is currently
Dead Roses for a while.
Red Roses.
Yeah. Currently what?
He's currently playing now, right?
I think he's playing.
Well, he will be in an hour or so.
Probably with Graham.
No,
Doit's with Fleetwood.
Fleetwood.
Yes.
Oh,
okay.
nice.
Fleetwood family.
And Fleetwood family, man. Those guys, good time, lots of fun, man.
Okay, so here's my big question. Who's Jeff Beckwith?
I don't know who he's with. But no, Jeff's a good friend of mine. We grew up together, went through school, and in school band together. And he's been my go-to for probably the last 15 years.
Okay.
So we've been in different variants of cover bands over the years. But yeah, Jeff's my guy. He can play anything you want very well. And so...
Multi-instrumentalist? Or?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Really, and he'll tell you the same. The only thing he can't play is drums. So it works out really well for me.
When you said he plays anything very well, I thought you mean any kind of song, any kind of music, or any kind of instrument?
Any instrument. Yeah.
So
saxophone, trumpet, keys,
man.
guitar, bass.
You're for real about anything. Like if you can play reed instruments and
you put it in his hand and he can play
and horns and stuff, that's a whole new level to me, man.
And for us, he's playing rhythm guitar when needed, and then he's playing keyboards, and he's got some cool sounds.
Nice.
He's got a good setup. And
any bands we might remember him from?
Different variants. Years ago, we were the Ginger Affair.
Okay, I like the name.
Yeah.
This guy comes up with good names.
Then this next one's not great. We were Vanity Vultures for a while.
I remember that one.
Had a female lead for that. That was fun. Yeah, the VV.
It's all right.
Yeah, and so now we're Dr. Martin's Flannel Brigade.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's in that, Jeff?
Jeff's in that. Jeff,
okay.
Yeah, Jeff and I are a team. So anytime we're playing music, it's typically me and Jeff.
All right, now we're caught up on that. Let's get caught up what's happening around the river bend this weekend. Erin Joe Paddlefoot on a Friday night down at the Conservatory, starting at 8:30, going to 11:30. The Owlz, the veterans. You talk about veterans.
Yeah.
The Owlz, 7 to 11 at the VFW in Alton. Champagne Fixx, 7.
Talk about veterans. They're at the VFW.
You know it, man. Champagne Fixx. Oh, that's Champagne Fixx. I always say it that way, so I know how to spell it. 7:30 to 11:30 at Fast Eddie. To Dueling Pianos out at Baker's and Hale on Friday night. Josh Wuerffel. I don't know how to say that. I want message with me with that R in there. I would say Wuerffel, but it's got an R.
No, I think I'm gonna. I think you got it. Wuerffel.
Okay. 7 to 10 at Laux, Brickhouse, and Bethalto. Bobby and Jimmy Rolens. There's some veterans.
Yeah.
7 to 10 at the Moose in Wood River. Baywolf guys.
Yeah.
Johnny Dangerously. 8:30 at Doit's Village Inn.
He called me that once.
He did?
That's Johnny Dangerously humor, man. Come on.
So do you guys know what this is? Graham Band at the Music of the Spears, 7 o'clock at First Presbyterian Church in Granite City. What's the music?
Sounds like a bad fit.
Is he making that up?
Graham very well could. He's kind of sly like that. I'm not familiar.
Also down in Granite on a Friday night, Flip Side. Catch them quite often down there. They're at Patty McDee's at 8 o'clock. And then heading to Edwardsville now, where Big Love going to be on stage. The Fleetwood Mac Tribute, 8 o'clock at the Wild E Theater in Edwardsville. And you will see Monochrome in the future at the Wild E. with this awesome Jack White
Aw,
black keys. Thanks.
thoughtful.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Getting your hopes up, guys. Come on, now you gotta do it. I've announced it.
Right.
So
It's
a
out.
challenge.
It's out in the universe. Gauntlet thrown, man.
yeah.
Manifest it. Speak it into being.
Pigpen's about to buy the back bar in Edwardsville. I didn't know if you guys knew that.
Yeah, right on.
It's only $1.99.
That's right across from the Wild Eater.
It's only $1.99 cheaper than $200,000.
Around the corner on Friday night at Big Daddy's, Dave Horton from 6 to 9. Alex Rue, 7 to 10 at 1818 Chop House in Edwardsville. Hopefully I got his name right.
All good meals start with a roux.
All right. Andrew Dahl, or Dolly, Dahl, I'm going to go with, 7 to 11 at the Cabin at Judy Creek and Glen Carbon. When I can't get their name right, you should put them on a list of people we need to get. Because then, we got all their names right in the future.
I'm still going to get them wrong. What do you mean? You're looking right at me.
Scott Marlin's with Carrie Joe up in Highland at the Unwind Lounge on Friday night. And the Birds of Squalor, they're across the river with Raise the Alarms, Down Periscope, and Broken Blind. That's a $12 advance, $3 service charge for minors at the Red Flag in St. Louis.
All right, real quick. I hate to bust in, but there are things going on in the studio. People are exchanging money. I think there was a little dance done. I don't know what's happening over here, guys, but I want in.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to try to tap into this.
Lance is my water dealer.
Yeah, we never know. We never know.
Okay, I just saw some money and a little.
Somehow I even understood what he meant. I don't know.
They think they're on radio, but it's all on film.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, okay.
They don't.
Okay. So you can watch the video later and see what just went down.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
There's a Halpin Music Company and Matt Van Voorhis of Halpin Music Company.
They sponsor this because this is what they think is good entertainment right here. They believe in this sort of entertainment. They know it's the future. It's just guys sitting around going, "What are you doing? You gave him some money. Why'd you give him money? I want money too. I wish I had money. I don't have much money." What else we got? Well, I'm so confused right now. Scott Marlin. That's something that's happening, right?
We're past that, Pigpen. So I did want to mention, as we move into Saturday, Harvest Drive playing the VFW in Alton on Saturday, but on Friday they're up at the
shout out to Jeff
Canton Inn in Hillsboro, which is now called Sarah Schumacher's place. I've heard.
The home of Sarah Schumacher.
What I meant to say was our guest last week. We talked about a show she's got coming up there.
Yeah.
So anyway, Saturday night Harvest Drive at the VFW, the Pianos at Ragin' Cajun, Naked Soul, and Champagne Fixx at Fast Eddie's on Saturday. Tripwire out of Bakers and Hale and Godfrey. Foreplay at the Pump House in Wood River. 9 o'clock Big Pen for foreplay. Flip the Frog, 8 o'clock.
Put that in my calendar. 9 o'clock, foreplay Saturday. Come prepared.
Flip's down at the Refinery Bar in Wood River on Saturday. And
Flip the Frog.
The scruffy-looking nerf herder, he's at Sparky's in South Roxana. 7 to 11 for Sparky's and the scruffy-looking nerf herder. Cabin Fever up at the Tri-County Rod and Gun Club in Brighton. 7 o'clock, and let's see, Jason McAtee duo. 3 to 7 at Grafton Winery. Brewhouse on Saturday, and Johnny Dangerously night number 2 down at Doit's Village Inn at Pontoon Beach. Steel Creek at Patrick's at 9 o'clock in Granite on Saturday. Flip side at Tegan's in Granite. Fast Times 7 to 11 at Bendy's in Granite City, and Rewind at Pavia's in Granite City from 7 to 10 on Saturday. All right, let's see, Pigpen. Scott Marlin, 6 to 9 at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville. Jared Lutch, 5 to 8 at the Stagger Inn in Edwardsville. And Butch Moore, 7 to 10 at the Cabin at Judy Creek. And Ruby Lee.
Ooh, there we go.
Ruby Lee. 500 tickets sold.
Easy right now for that girl.
That's what I see.
And she can do that without even trying.
Yeah, well, she's doing Wordy Gras. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's good for them for signing her up for that in time, because it's hard to get through to her now, man.
If there is a ticket left, she'll be playing at the Casey Hall in Highland on Saturday.
And
I think there was a few tickets. I know when I went to the website, there were people like posting, "I got a few extra tickets." So,
hey man, it's a good chance to see her, because you're not going to see her at a whole lot of Casey Halls in the near future, I would imagine.
And I will tell you, for a 16-year-old, she, if you're interested in the voice, she tells all kinds of killer backstories about the voice when she does a show. It's just her and her acoustic. And she's like most guys we see that have their acoustic guitars. They tell stories along with what they do, and she does a fabulous job of doing that. So.
Nice.
I'm telling you, the little tale you told about the guy who won,
right?
I forget his name, but
Huntley.
On the very first night, not knowing he was going to be the winner, not knowing who she was, coming to her room and knocking and going, "What you're doing is amazing." That I smiled for hours after you told that story because it made me like him so much.
Yeah. Well, there's more to the story because see what happened was they get to the hotel on the first night, right? And she's in there practicing, and they told her don't practice past 9:00. Well, she hasn't met anyone yet, and about 9:55 there's a knock on the door, and she's like, "Uh-oh."
Well, she's practicing still.
Right. Yeah. So she goes to the door, and there's this big guy. He's got these long braided ponytails, and she's like, obviously security, and he's like, that's the most amazing thing I've ever heard. She was doing the yodel that won her the advancement from the first round, right? And that's what he had heard, and he came over and said that. So the next day she goes to the voice, and he's Huntley, the guy that ends up winning the thing.
Wow.
It was like a 31 to 30% vote.
Oh, is that right?
In favor of Huntley. And he tried to hand her the trophy, like after, at the end. And she's
after
like,
they told him he won, she's like,
this makes no sense. Keep it,
But the fact that on his first day, no ego of, that's some good stuff coming. Instead, he takes it upon himself to knock and say how awesome it is to somebody he doesn't know. Love it, man. Love it.
So, that's just one of the stories. There's several more. It's been a few weeks now since I've seen her New Year's Eve. And
awesome.
if you like that show, you definitely want to go check that out.
Yeah.
So,
and to be honest, I've never seen The Voice. I don't even, like you telling me that they turn chairs around and stuff. I just never seen it, but
she got me to watch it.
I was gonna say I've been after hearing a few stories about her and that Huntley. Just hearing that makes me go, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to go on the internet and watch this because I suddenly like these people. Instead of thinking of them as probably big egos and think they're the greatest or whatever. I've seen Ruby. She's just this normal girl who's really into what she's doing. And then to hear that the guy who won is that humble of a guy just makes you take it a little more like not
karma
such
was
a,
in his favor.
Well, and it makes it seem not so much like a hot shot show. It's just people really into what they're doing. So
Monochrome is playing February 24th for the very first time. Get out and support them down at the Mill in Granite City as they do a Black Keys Jack White tribute, salute, whatever.
I say we set 4 chairs up and we put our backs to them and we see if they can turn us off.
And I don't know if this is worth mentioning, but I would assume that there's a few different ways to do a tribute. That to where you're just completely 100% authentic, note for note. We're not that.
Yeah,
we're putting our spin on it, and that's across the board. That's not just Lazy Lester because we're kind of feel like we're the core because it feels like an extension of the band. Sure. Although now, it did feel like that. Now it feels like a new band.
Right.
But there's harmonica. There's the creativity in the parts, and I wouldn't say we're rewriting, but we're rewriting parts and adding parts and doing things. So.
Well, we're using 5 guys to recreate the music. Each of those bands are essentially 2 people.
Right.
To beef them up, but we're using 5 musicians to beef it up. It's big and full and cool.
I would think that would make a huge sound for what these songs came from. But like you mentioned, the tributes are there. You go to a Beatles tribute, and they look like the Beatles. They
act like them. And
come on, Ringo, get it together, eh? They're trying to talk like, and that's cool. That's fun. That's a fun experience. And a lot of times when you see, especially like jam bands like the Grateful Dead or the Allman Brothers, something. Now these people are not sticking to the script because these bands were never built on a script.
Right.
The script is learn the tune and play the tune however you feel like playing it tonight. But you know the tune, and everybody have fun with with it. And I don't know, I've never seen Jack White live. I've never been to a Jack White show. But something about the little bit of music I've seen, you know, what I do know by him, back when we were in 2013, when you helped me build the studio behind my house, you were, I think it was the Racketeers or Racketeers or whatever.
I saw them live.
You were listening to them a lot.
Yes.
And actually you were listening to the Cardinals. Ryan Adams and the Cardinals, who had Neil Casal on guitar, who ended up becoming, like, until he passed, he became my favorite guitar player.
Nice.
And he was my guy to go see, man. Huh.
I didn't realize you picked that up out of that. Yeah.
Well,
nice.
I didn't pick. I actually went back to it. I realized I liked his guitar playing, but when I heard him play with Chris Robbins of Brotherhood, him and Adam McDougall playing together hit me in my creamy center, and then they started a side project called Circles Around the Sun at the behest of the Grateful Dead to do this set break music for them. And I went and saw those, those guys. They were really phenomenal psychedelic band, you know. But anyway, I would, back to the point, I don't know Jack White that well, but I would think that he's the kind of guy who's playing the tune. When he gets on stage, you don't know which version of this song you're going to get, because to him it's just a song, man. And he's not going to play it necessarily like it sounds on the album. He's going to play what he does tonight.
He definitely colors outside the lines. He's
and so if you tribute someone like that, you should do it in such a fashion, I do believe.
And I was worried about...
I'm so glad he mentioned fashion, because Lance is going to switch costumes between every song.
Nice.
Going to have him do a runway strut each time.
Yeah, when we first were going into it, we knew that we wasn't trying to go note for note, obviously, and we talked about, you know, keeping some of the stuff that I had already done with harmonica, like specifically, but then I started digging through some of the live stuff, not real deep, but like kind of sent some examples over just to kind of like lock that idea in that even they don't sound like the album, which that's common, but not across the board.
I was going to say, I've gone to a lot of shows where they just played their album.
Yeah.
You know, with a couple tracks off the old album. And that's what they, you know,
exactly.
I mean, and a lot of bands would do that to support an album. They just learn a set and they swap out a few tunes along the way. And,
but not from these guys, not from either band.
Usually when you got guys who really live on the road and that's what they do, no, man, they're there to play the music. And again, it's not, this is the 3-minute version I did one day in the studio that everybody seemed to like. This is a song I wrote 20 years ago, and tonight I'm going to play it like this.
Right.
You know, which, again, not knowing Jack, just from what I've seen him, he just seems like the real deal that would have that sort of attitude.
And they stick to just the two of them most of the time on the White Stripes, you know, but like with the Racketeers is a full band, so that's kind of a little different. But with the Black Keys, they have, you know, musicians behind them that I would think that it's the same guys. You know, it seems like they look familiar from video to video, but I think that, you know, the idea that they're a two-piece is still there because they're up front and they're laying down most of it, but there's a little support behind them, whereas, you know, the White Stripes, they pretty much just do it on their own. I don't think there's anyone that ever helps them.
Yeah, just him and his wife and his mom and
Actually, I forgot about that. So there's like 6 of them, actually.
Right. Me, myself, and Irene. You know?
So there you go, February 24th, Monochrome. It's what happens when Lazy Lester and Dr. Martin's Flannel Brigade have wild, passionate sex and
have a baby.
They have a baby named Monochrome.
It wasn't that passionate.
Well, I just had to bring Jack Black back into it. That's his joke. So
might not have been passionate, but nonetheless, a love child was produced.
Right.
And that love child's name is Monochrome.
Yeah, I got a few more things I want to talk about for Sunday, Pigpen, because Sunday's interesting, and it's interesting that you brought up costume changes, because one of the things I wanted to bring up was this very last one, Pigpen.
Okay.
It's kick-ass.
Okay.
They're doing an unplugged art show. Okay?
All right.
So Kelly, one of the kick-ass members,
all right,
will switch off from bass to canvas and paint while they play. So she'll be playing bass and painting from 3 to 6 at KT Saloon in Oakville, Missouri. I had to put that on the list. I've never seen that.
Now
I'm interested. I don't know how I don't know what's going to happen here. But
I know.
It's already got my attention.
It's art and music combined.
Right.
It sounds original, but what's the chances that you Google that and it's already been done?
I'm sure it has. I had the idea a while, when we started doing covers, I was like, covers, I'd rather do originals. But, you go through this anyways. I decided, that I would just trace things while we sang. And I'd cover art. See?
Yeah.
Right?
I believe you.
Trace paper.
Completely.
Yeah.
I do cover comedy all the time. I retell all my favorite comedians' jokes constantly.
Yeah. So, Tate Kelly Bluegrass open mic is happening at the Lodge on Sunday from 2 to 5. Tate Kelly.
Thought there was an in there.
Yeah, well, calm down, Pig.
Family show.
Go back to foreplay on Saturday night. 2 to 5 at the Lodge at Lovejoy. This is an ongoing thing. If you're into bluegrass, if you're wanting to sit in and jam, you can do that. Nice. Tate Kelly puts it on, doing a lot of stuff now at the Lodge at Lovejoy. Riley in the Groove and Naked Soul at Fast Eddie's on Sunday. Danny Gallagher up at Grafton Winery on Sunday from 1 to 5. And Pigpen was on tour with this band, LA Guns. 7:30 at the Wildy Theater, and wasn't it L.A. Guns?
It was not.
It was Skid Row and L.A. Guns, right?
No, it was Skid Row and Bon Jovi.
Oh, okay. I knew it was one of them.
L.A. Guns. L.A. Guns was the predecessor to Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they were like leftover members that didn't make the cut, right?
Right.
Or something like that.
Right.
We're probably botching that, but
it's something
somewhere
like
in there,
that.
yeah. Drew Lance at the cabin at Judy Creek from 3 to 6, and B&B Strings up at Wild Pickens on Sunday from 1 to 5.
There you go, man. Pretty good weekend going on in our sleepy little community. So pages and pages of stuff from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so anybody with the audacity to look at anybody else and go, there's nothing going on this weekend. I beg to differ, my friend, because we have the proof.
Yeah.
The proof is in the pudding.
Don't forget, Halpin Music Company and Mr. Matt Van Voorhis want me to tell you that Monochromes is playing February 24th at the Mill in Granite City. You got to get out and check out this venue. Beautiful building.
Yeah.
Pigpen wouldn't lie about that. That's one thing he would not twist.
Everything else I make up right on the spot, but this is one thing I take serious. Architecture.
It is beautiful. What do you think? Couple hundred people can get in there?
Every bit of 400.
I was going to say that place has got to hold 400 or 500.
Well,
that main auditorium is
it's a big room.
See, I was just at the Lincoln Theater, and it felt bigger than that place to me. And I know they said they had 400 in there, and it was packed.
Yeah.
So that's why I guess 200, because for some reason it didn't feel that big to me when I was in there. But it is kind of an odd-shaped room. So
I haven't been in there yet. They have it reported as a couple hundred, because I've had that conversation with Casey, but
I was just getting ready. I was just actually trying to Google it to go, hey,
well,
can we...
the only info comes from I don't know, maybe Fox 2 or somebody that was over there.
That's where you get your news.
wow.
And they and then I did the same thing. I tried to check that, and it just keeps using their info from that interview.
Gotcha. I was like, what is it? I mean, we might be able to actually see.
Hey,
like I've looked at it.
While he's looking that up, I'm going to talk to Lance about something else beyond music. So I checked out your YouTube channel. I went deer hunting with you.
Did you really?
Yeah. I watched like every video.
Did you really?
I did. I had to. Because I knew I'd have you on at some point. I'd be like, hey. So that was pretty cool, though.
I can't imagine that people actually watch that stuff.
Yeah.
Except for other deer hunters.
So going out and filming deer hunting.
It's a blast. It's hard, though. Extremely hard.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I kind of sort of gave up on the filming part of it this year, but my newest fun side of hunting is an electric bike, an e-bike.
Okay.
I am super pumped about it. It's like all camoed out and cool.
Yeah.
It's just another toy.
Got like a mounted gun on it, probably.
Well, it's going to have it's going to be a swivel, automatic, all that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, no, those videos are embarrassing to watch. Me watching myself, and I can't imagine, unless you're a deer hunter, why you would ever watch it. But somebody tricked me into posting it public. And
Yeah.
so
That's what I'd say too. How about Lazy Lester? What do you got coming up in February? Anything you can think of?
we're actually playing that Warty Girl, but not actually in town. It's over at Staunton on February 10th, right? But before that, we play at Doit's on this coming Wednesday. I think that's the 7th.
And that's the first Wednesday of every month till they tell you to stop.
I believe so. I think they're going to get tired of us.
It looks like they're loving you down there.
Oh, apparently we are booked at the cabin in Benell this Sunday for their anniversary, and Mikey says, "Guys, I'm R-word." And, yeah, so I guess we got a surprise gig this Sunday.
Okay,
can you make it?
Well, there you go.
He's so
I guess I'll be there.
Yeah. He's so
Benell.
We just had this conversation last night at practice, and Daniel says, "So is Lazy Lester playing anywhere this weekend?" Reconfirming that, and Mikey says, "No, we're off this weekend."
Yeah.
So
not so much. Now you're going to be in Beneld. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
You know, Beneld was a raging little country
Yeah.
town, man. That was the
Al
Coliseum
Capone
Bar.
home
That's this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend.
Sunday.
Interesting.
Monochromes.
You guys ought to take a canvas with you and paint while you're doing that show Sunday.
Yeah.
That's an interest.
We'll have Mikey the bassist do it.
Daniel.
He doesn't do anything anyway, so it'll be fine.
How about Dr. Martin's Flannel Brigade? Anything coming up?
Yeah, we're playing. Dr. Martin's is playing this Saturday at the Corner Keg in Highland.
Okay.
There you
So
go.
we'll be up there. I think 8:30 to 12:30.
All right.
How many guys in that band?
That's 4.
4? Okay.
Yeah,
We'll have
4
to we'll have to talk to you separate from these guys.
This Saturday?
Let's do
This
that.
Saturday.
Well, we'll have to get you in separate from these guys because they just ruined this set. For
Yeah,
you,
I know,
man.
right?
Like they just really trashed it. I mean, you were doing great, and just the Lance kept dragging us in the ditch, talking about whatever. I would,
Deer
I mean, personally, I'm working hard to keep this train on the tracks.
I noticed that.
Hey, thanks so much for coming down. Big success to Monochromes
Thanks,
in
dude.
your upcoming nuptials.
February 24th.
And February 24th at the Mill, and anybody who is either like a fan of White Stripes, Jack Black, any form
Jack
of
Black.
Jack Black again. Here we go.
I think we're going to have to do it. You're going to have to
Jack
pull me out of
Gray.
retirement.
Okay.
Jack
We'll
Black,
just,
man.
we'll just go do it at his house.
Okay, yeah.
Because he's the only one into it. So.
Well, no, we get requests. Lazy Lester does.
Hey, can we wait till nice weather and do it outside?
Yeah.
Because I like the sunshine too, man.
Yeah, by the pool.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Okay, it's a gig.
So that anyone who's into Jack White, get out on February 20. Yeah, really, if you just want to see the Mill, this is a great chance because this is a new venue that is a really a cool thing that's happening. Go down and support the Mill, support the Monochromes, and big thanks again to all you guys for coming down.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks a
man.
lot.
All right. Also, thanks to our sponsors, Halpin Music Company. Thanks to Matt Van Bors of Macias Insurance, along with everybody else that he supports constantly.
We'd like to ask you to thank them as well. If you get a chance, swing into Halpin Music and thank them for supporting Riverbend Town and letting us do this now going on 8 years in May, Pigpen.
And seriously, if you're out there thinking, well, I don't really have a musician in the family, I'd love to support Halpin Music, but I don't really know what to do. You can always just stop by and drop a 20 and be like, put this on Pigpen's account, man.
Right.
I mean,
Makes sense.
it just makes good sense.
Pretty sure that's illegal, Pigpen.
Pretty sure. It's probably illegal. Anyway, thanks to Halpin, thanks to Matt, thanks to everybody listening, and everybody get out and support local music and art.